Track Wrestling with Eric Van Kley, head wrestling coach at Central College. We are in Pella, Iowa, and we're going to see the Central Wrestling Room, 3 full mats behind us, and explain the concept of what you have. You have some natural lighting, which you thought was important, but just take us through why this was important, the space we're about to see.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we're looking at here, Kyle, is we really felt like the space was critical. As you've seen wrestling expand, you have guys that are more athletic, you have guys that are creating more scrambles. You know, another thing that we really thought about when we built this is just the rule change with the out of bounds, you know, where there's a lot more expansion on that, and we wanted it where we could best simulate the flow of a regular wrestling match in practice. So square footage wise, we have 50 by 150 for mat space. Our roster averages low to mid 40s. We can very comfortably have them all in here along with assistants and the staff that goes with that. Along with that, as you mentioned, lighting was very important to us. You can see it's not your typical dark, dungy, wrestling room that many of us grew up with in high school and college. Extremely bright with both the lighting that we have and then all natural light. So this would be west facing with all the windows. So when we're running wrestling practices, even January, February, March, when the days are shorter, it just floods it with natural light at 4:30 in the afternoon.
And then behind us we have workout equipment. You were intentional about the stands, which allows fans to come in and watch wrestling practice.
It is. We have bleacher seating for 50, so whether it's fans, recruits, injured athletes, when we're doing clinics, we can easily have parents that are sitting off there. Two-part. One, it makes it much more comfortable seating for them, and also eliminates injuries. So you don't have parents, trainers, things like that sitting on the mat. So once again, allows us just to utilize the space for all the full mat for wrestling, and then be able to have parents, trainers, recruits, all of that bleacher seating for 50 there. As far as the training equipment, essentially everything that we need. We use the bikes a lot, use the treadmills a lot, weights, slam balls. Also have the 2 TVs there that we can use for just watching TV when they're working out, or for video work over our mat here. But we use the technology a lot.
And then we have our national championship board up here. Yep. John McGovern, probably the most recognized one. You think John McGovern is the greatest wrestler to come out of the Iowa Conference?
I really do. I think in the Iowa Conference history, there have been obviously tremendous wrestlers that have done a lot of accomplishments, but when you see what John did post-collegiately on the number of Division I All-Americans, national champs, the number of potentially, in some cases, world Olympic champs that he's beat. Extremely proud of all that John's done, and I think he's an even better guy off the mat. But very rich history and tradition that we recognize. Something that's also extremely important to us is not only the All-Americans national champs, but the number of Scholar All-Americans. We haven't added our to the board this year, but that's something we really emphasize as far as that goes. So last thing that I think our guys probably like the most is we really made a huge investment in the stereo system, but it's not your mother and father stereo system. So we invested about 50 grand into the stereo system. It's all run with your phone via Bluetooth. So very clean. You don't have the CDs or even the iPod jacks as far as that goes. They just come in here and run the system with their phone.
And then if we walk out the door here, yep, you have a student lounge, which I think is unique because you can just walk right out of practice.
So both before and after practice on any given day, we wanted a student space that was really their space, and that's kind of what this student lounge accomplishes. Be it watching TV, be it Xbox, gaming systems, ping pong, or whether it's plugging a cell phone in, working on homework, that kind of stuff. But just a very, very multi-purpose space that that was our student space that they could use for pretty much everything.
And then this was a D1 wrestling center for a while too. You had all the mats up for D1 nationals.
It was. So chronologically, how things went this year, our Division III nationals was the week before Division I's, and we had a Division I watch party where each of the consolation matches we had on one of the various quartiles of the screen, and then we had the semifinals up here, and pizzas everywhere. So just a great space that we can really maximize for different student events.
Next part of this tour is the locker rooms. We'll join you down there. We continue our tour with Eric Van Kley. We're at Central College going into a world-class locker room. And before we go and explain the philosophy, this isn't just going to be wrestling, this is all men's sports.
It is, and maybe this is a little bit more of a Division III philosophy of balance and the student athlete, but we did not want separate locker rooms for each of our individual sports. We wanted it where, one bay from our wrestlers, maybe the men's soccer team or the football team, where there's a lot of interaction, where it wasn't just wrestlers hanging out with wrestlers 24/7, but where there was a lot more mixing, and they're the same guys that they're having class with and having dinner with, that kind of stuff, that they're meeting different guys and getting to know different guys from different teams. So we really talk over and over again about Central College being a family, and we felt like that was important rather than individualizing each lockers.
And then we're going to go right into here, and we get right away
So similar to Wrestling Center upstairs, I would say very consistent concept, very, very big on space, but adding the technology with it. So, if you want to think of each individual bay has its own flat screen TV with it. And then when you turn and look that way, you can see pretty much how much space it is. But about 2/3 the size of a football field is how much space we have for locker room. Heavy on the way technology. This is also run with Bluetooth, so the same stereo system that we have upstairs, or the same audio system, also down here, where the students are running this by their phone, and then individual flat screen in each one.
Let's take a walk through here, just some of the space, some big lockers right here too, as we go into a cove.
One of the things that was really important to us on the wrestling side of things was the sanitation, and two-part that we looked at. These locker rooms actually have a ventilation system that comes in at the top of them to vent clean air in there. So as far as their shoes, wrestling headgear, workout clothes, that kind of stuff, ample air circulation, so it's really minimized our skin stuff very, very quickly. Locked parts of the locker room for their backpack, cell phone, wallet, whatever that may be, but just plenty of room as far as that goes. So in talking about the sanitation, good ventilation system for headgear, workout clothes, that kind of stuff, and then we're also very intentional about the number of shower heads. So our whole roster of 40 to 45 can shower relatively quickly in about 5 minutes, just with the ample space of the showers.
What's been the response from the kids? They like this?
They're just absolutely blown away. They're just blown away. It's I think there's a lot of things where you've seen really an uptick on the high school and facilities that high schools are building. Be it a football field, be it an arena, that kind of stuff that it's hard for colleges to keep up on. We were very intentional about wanting to make sure that when it came to their locker room space, where they're spending a lot of time with their friends, that it definitely would be a significant upgrade compared to anybody in the country's high school. And I think that's what they found here. It's just a great facility that they're very comfortable with. It does the practical things, showering, keeping your gear dry, that kind of stuff, but also a space that they can feel comfortable hanging out in after practice.
Is there anything you would have done different?
Just gotten it quicker. I think that's we're very intentional at Central that we took no debt for this. This is all paid for by fundraising dollars. And like anything, you wish you could have things sooner than that, but it's really, really been a good space for us, very, very practical, and served our needs well.
You wrestled at Minnesota State Mankato. Jim McCoskey was your coach. Here you are, athletic director, head wrestling coach, and you were going to quit the team, and he wouldn't let you.
That's a fact. I very, I don't know if proudly is the right word, but very honestly tell people, like a lot of, freshmen, sophomores, things are tough early on, and I vividly remember walking in the office and telling Coach McCoskey that didn't think the team needed me. I didn't think I was making much of an impact, and it was probably time to quit. And I don't know that he even took his eyes off the computer screen and just told me that wasn't an option for me. And I tried to argue with him a little bit, and he didn't like my answer and just told me to go get some rest over the weekend, and he'd see me Monday. And I walked down the hallway, kicked the wall, and I said, geez, I can't even quit right. So that's it means a lot to me that he never gave up on me, and that eventually I saw in myself what he did. But it was a long journey, and you get discouraged early on, just like a lot of college wrestlers.
When you get to the finishing point here, you have beautiful facilities. How difficult is that journey to get to this point that we're standing in such a great place?
I think you just see how many people are involved with this, and that's why I'm so unbelievably thankful and feel blessed that it was so many people, not just on the monetary side of things, but we fundraised and planned for the better part of 3.5, 4 years to make this happen. And I think, as I was telling you earlier when we chatted today, I don't want there to ever be a day or a week where I walk in our wrestling center that is from my perspective, as nice as any Division I wrestling center in the country, I don't ever want to take that for granted. I realize we're very fortunate and blessed, and so many people made commitments to make this happen, and yeah, we're just very, very thankful for it.
We're in Pella, Iowa, known for being Holland, Little Holland, Dutch.
Yep.
Surprised the ventilation system aren't windmills.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Make it happen, right?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for this tour, Eric.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.